You know, I've been a little bit loath to talk about this to folks. When all this shit happened and we went into lockdown, my mind for 2020 was 100% writing and recording and locking myself away in the studio and just getting at it, you know, staying busy and staying interested. So I was already in a self-imposed lockdown, pretty much. You know, I wasn't going to go anywhere. I've said no to every gig I've been offered for a while. I was ready for this. I was ready to be locked down, to be quite honest. And without warning, you looked in my eyes. I could tell as soon as the sun was sure to rise. Every morning, time after time. I had a realization of something that, you know, that I've always known, but I just need to remind myself from time to time to remain interested at all times, to stay interested. And that's why I did those 2 records, you know, in Memphis and Muscle Shoals. It wasn't for any other reason other than I was interested in it. I thought that would be good to do. With this record, it's exactly the same. I just thought, well, it'll be good. It would be interesting, if nothing else, for me, to just try and map out the entire album myself and see how far I can go with it. Till that day it seems my fate is to watch the coffee percolate and drink it in this dark and dusty room. I'm not adverse to, at some point, taking this to a studio and other musicians or whatever, but at the minute I'm enjoying the, just trying to get it sounding right on my own without having to talk to anyone else, you know, or think about anything else, or, you know, I love working with other musicians. However, the second there's someone else in the room, there's another ego. There's another ego in the room, but you know, and not that any of the people I work with have, you know, overinflated egos or anything, but they're there nonetheless, you know. And when you're working on your own, you've only your own ego to deal with. And if you're doing your job right, you're leaving that ego at the door. So it's like there's just the music when I'm on my own. There's nothing else to think about. If I said that I didn't sometimes burn the wheat.
I've definitely been in that spot where you have been working on something on your own for a long period of time, and it gets difficult to hear it. You go through periods of kind of losing perspective, because some of the parts that you've put on changes and changes and changes, and you can definitely get into that spot of, you know, chasing your tail a little bit.
guess the thing was, I just stopped hearing the songs. I stopped hearing after a while I couldn't hear, okay, I need to cut this bit, drop here, do this, whatever. I just stopped having any ideas, and I knew it was close. And like I said in the garden that time, you know, I'm not closed to the idea of reaching out to someone else. But now I'm thinking I probably should have done it sooner, you know. Nah, actually, fuck that. It was a learning curve. The late sun shone on Botanic Park. Then a cloud came and it got dark.
You know, as a kid, watching Foy play gigs back home, and that sitting down and belting it out and committing to the moment, whether it be on a stool in a bar or whether it be on a sofa, you know, singing out a line. It's just always there. It's a consistent. It's amazing. It's unbelievable.
I'll do another one.
Yeah.
Better looking at it than for it. I started mapping this record out in London. Then the world ended. You know, it was time to come back home. So the first thing I did was book Don Varlick for 2 weeks. Yeah, I've got a relationship with this place. I booked it for my 40th birthday, and then we booked it for Marie's 40th birthday party. And when we got married, we booked it. Well, she didn't know. I booked it. She didn't know we were even getting married. That's a long story. But when we got married, we had our first dance here in the front garden with Tushpa, the chicken. You want this? Should we play fetch? Music belongs in this place. You can feel it when you walk through the doors. Those exploring plants report no signs of God. How much better does that feel? How much better does that feel? The window of the fuselage, whether we were born of a bang or the aftermath of requiem. I'm so lazy, but it's kind of. Do I like it or do I hate it? Oh, well, I remember way back when I felt only like nothing could complete me. You know, for a while after I got off the road in November 2017, I hadn't faced up to a few things in myself yet. And I just wasn't really writing anything or even wanting to write anything until I wrote a song called Sapling. And gave up alcohol for a while. I felt like up to then I was trying to get songs for the Republic of Eden. But in Sapling, I felt like I knew I was going somewhere else.
I remember way back when I felt only ennui, like nothing could complete me. No promise of a rising sun illuminating everyone, the very thought to feed.
You know, my first instrument is guitar, much like Foy. You know, we're not drummers, we're not bass players. It has been that, like, a different approach, you know, so to me it feels different. It would be a completely different sounding record if, you know, we had have just, you know, waited until next year when hopefully, you know, the world has unfucked itself and, you know, you book a studio and you go in, you cut the whole thing inside of a week. But, you know, it may not be a worse sounding record, it may be just completely different. So yeah, it has absolutely played a role in how things have been decided on, parts have been shaped, and I think that's a good thing. I think we've definitely embraced that side of it.
This is the longest I've ever spent on a record, for sure. The excitement in this is kind of, it's a little slower, less of a sprint, more of a marathon. So rather than complicate the situation and involve a whole load of other people and, you know, just because that's what you do, go into a room and play it all live, I've just followed my interest, really, just followed the cookie trail on this one. And I'm enjoying doing it on my own, and whether this ends up being what I release in the end or not, that's another thing, you know. It could be that I get to a point here and then realise I know exactly who I need for what, you know what I mean? You know, I'm trying to leave my ego at the door here, even though I'm doing it all myself. That's, yeah.